Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karabhavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mave Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The Guru Stotram. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanam Janashalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Stavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Yatkinchit Sajaracharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sarvashruti Siro Ratna Virajita Padambujaha Vedantambuja Suryo Yaha Tasmai Chaitanya Shashvata Shanto Vyomatito Niranjanaha Bindunadakalātītaha Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Jnana Sakti Samarūdaha Svamala Vibhushitaha Bhukti Mukti Pradātāca Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Anika Janma Samprapta Karma Bandha Vidahini Atmajnana Pradhanena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Soshanam Bhavasindhoscha Jnapanam Sarasampadaha Guru Padodakam Samyak Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Na Guru Radhikam Tattvam Na Guru Radhikam Tapaha Tattvajnanat Param Asti Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mannata Sri Jagannatha Madguru Sri Jagadguruhu Madatma Sarvabhutatma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Guru Radhiranadischa Guru Ivatam Guru Parataram Asti Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Brahma Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvātītam Gagana Sadrusham Tasvamasyādilakṣyam Ekam Nityam Vimalachachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavādītam Trigunarahitam Gurum Tam Namami. Tvameva Mata Eva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Tvameva. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. So you are the mother, you are the father. Tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva. You are the bandhu, you are relative, or all relations are you. Sakha, you are the friend. Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva. You are the knowledge and you are the wealth. Tvameva sarvam amadeva deva. You are everything that I can see. That's the direct meaning. Tvameva mata cha. I see you in my mother. You are my mother is one, but I see you also in my mother. Tvameva mata. I see you in my father. Tvameva pita tvameva. I see you in my bandhus, in all my relations. Sakha tvameva. I see you also in my friend. Tvameva vidya. I see you in all the knowledge that I learn. And I see you also all, Dravinam also includes all Shri. Shri means all the auspiciousness that associated with it. I see you there. Because he is the locus of all Ananta Kalyana Ashrayam. Infinite auspicious qualities, and he is the locus for that. Tvameva sarvam mamadevadam. And I see you in everything that I see. That you are God of all gods. So it is the teacher and it's a knowledge also. This is supposed to be composed by the Kunti, the Mahabharata. Now with that understanding, we will start meditation. Meditation, Gurudev used to tell, is not a verb. It is a noun. That means I cannot do meditation. It's not something to do, but something to be in. I have to be in the state of meditation. What I can do is contemplation. Keep the mind in the direction. But in the meditation, as we went through several stages that is required, as Ramana Maharishi emphasized how to bring the mind in order to do this. You can hear me, right, in the end? You can hear me. So, meditation requires ekagrata, chitta ekagrata and chitta vishalata. Those are the two aspects involved. And we try to emphasize chitta ekagrata first, means concentration of the mind, so that it doesn't dissipate anywhere. Most of the problems that we have is for the mind running out. So what we do is start bringing the mind to the seat of meditation from its running. And as Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi emphasized, Vayu Rodhana Liyate Manaha. By controlling the Vayu, you can bring the mind. Means Liyate means it dissolves the mind that is running away. So that only we have the mind that is able to concentrate on the direction that we want to concentrate is available. Normally for the yogic positions you have to sit straight and all that. And idea is the vertebral column, and this is all the chakras and all that, which we don't emphasize, but at least you don't fall asleep. So you should at least keep straight and keep your vertebral column and neck in line. And that's how the basic steps, at least far, because when the mind has become quiet, the biggest problem is it wants to go to sleep, because that's how when the sleep is, the mind also goes to. So it's used to that. So now we want to be vigilant. At the same time, it has to be quiet. So we are trying to balance these two. In order to do that, we can of course lie in any pose, meditate in any pose, even lying down also. But you find yourself immediately you want to sleep quickly. I mean, that may be a good way of getting sleep quickly, but that's not the purpose here. So it's one drunkard went to to a priest, says, "Can I drink while you are preaching? Or when you are thinking God, can I drink?" He says, "No, no, no, you should not drink, you should think only of the God." Then he thought about it and he changed the question. "Can I think of the God when I am drinking?" So he says, "Yes, you can think of the God anytime. So I can meditate anytime. But if I want to sit for meditation, I need a quiet place and a place that is conducive for meditation. I can do meditation in the bathroom also. But that's not the place to do meditation because the mind runs away easily. Because environment is conducive, should be conducive to make the mind to that direction. So meditation is recommended in a place where it is quiet and where the mind is in an environment that can uplift to the higher realities. So a puja room, a room where the incense and all that, so all other senses that are there is reminding me that I am in a place where all other things should be avoided. So in any temple we leave the chappals outside, but here we go into the meditation room leaving all our relationships, everything outside. Because I want to be with the Lord only, no other relationships. Therefore, I have to drop all that. And to drop all that will help me if I have go to a puja room, not for asking something. I say, I want to be with you. I don't want anything now. You have given me enough. You have given me the intelligence to think, and that is enough, more than what I need. Now, all I want to is recognize your presence. That's all I need to know. So I enter into the sanctum sanctorum with this idea in mind, where we have an altar that reminds me, there is an Ishta Devata that reminds me of the higher reality, and there is all the environment conducive, which is the flame and the agarbattis, all that. So all five senses that I can think of only reminding me of that higher nature. That is very important for until I am used to meditation. So in the training, I need to do that. So I don't know how to meditate. It's like swimming. I don't know how to swim. So I'm reading all the books, how to swim. Reading the books will not help how to swim. I may become expert of how to describe how to swim, but nothing will happen unless I enter into the swimming pool. So only way to do meditation is not reading a lot of books about how things meditate or what happens in meditation. Nothing will happen. You have to start from day one. And this is the process in which I want to do. So only way is jump in the pool. Oh, I don't know how to swim. That's why you have to jump into the pool. And slowly, slowly you will pick up a knack of how to swim until you become an expert. But the same way meditation also is like that until I can control my mind and redirect the mind. So initially the mind is not available. So how do we do it? That's what is recommended, and we will follow what exactly Bhagavan is trying to tell us. Okay? So let's now sit straight and keep your vertebral column straight and the neck and all in line. And you drop your hands comfortably enough so that you are not conscious of your body. So just relax. There should not be any tensions, so that your attention is not in the body. Just adjust yourself so that you are comfortable. And now we use pranayama or controlling the breathing so that we can bring the mind also into the seat of meditation. So what I want you to do is breathe in slowly, steadily, and hold the breath as long as you can and slowly breathe out. I'll be talking less because you'll be doing all this. So breathe in intensely until your lungs are full and hold the breath until you want to release the air, and slowly breathe out and hold the breath outside as long as you can and slowly breathe in. This is intensely controlling a process which is mechanical, but now you are deliberately doing it. Therefore, you will see that the mind has to come. You cannot think of anything else other than watching this process itself. This itself should relax you because your mind is not perturbed or disturbed by other things, and you are essentially involved in just the breathing process itself. If the mind is running away, make it more intense so that the mind's attention is not anywhere else other than the breathing. Let the body relax, and only what you're doing is only controlling the breathing process. Breathing is almost from the stomach all the way up, as though you're intensely doing this process and relaxing as you go along without any jerks. The process should be smooth, continuous, and steady. So whenever your mind is disturbed or perturbed, you can do this to bring the mind and make it calm and quiet. This we call it a step 1. You can do this as long as you can and wherever you can, and even in the office or somewhere, you can sit and do it to make yourself calm and quiet. Now we will go to the second step, where now we are an observer of the breathing, what Bhagavan Ramana calls it prana vichana. Means we are observing, now we are not controlling it. Now observe intensely how the air is going in and how the air is going out. So be an observer as though you are looking at the process standing outside. The equipment, lung system, all that is doing whatever that need to be done. But now you are not controlling it, but you are only observing it. This step 2, which we call prana vichana, if you find the mind has run away now, go back to step 1 again. This back and forth until the mind is under control has to be done so that your mind is in your control rather than you are, or the mind is controlling you. This prana vichana, the observing the mind, is the first step in the process of how to be a witnessing consciousness, where I am only a witness, not involve myself in the activities of the body, mind and intellect, but just an observer, observing detachedly or without any attachments. But prana vichna is we're only right now observing the process of breathing only. As we can do this more and more easily, you will find now the breathing has slowed down. It is becoming a smooth, since you are not doing any controlling process, just observing only. Now you go to the third step, where you're now observing not only this breathing, but the whole body itself, as though you are standing outside, looking and observing the whole body, as the body is just an equipment, just you are taking an inspection of the whole body, just as you are looking at your car or any bicycle equipment that you have. Stand apart and look at your own body from all the way from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. Examine each one, each limb, everything in place, and let it relax so that there is no tension in the body. But now be an observer outside, looking at each part and proceeding to the next. Breathing is going on, the body is sitting quietly, no movement anywhere. All that you can see, the body is relaxed. This is an auto-suggestion for the body to relax itself. This becomes an intense meditation if I can be an observer of my own body even when the body is performing the actions. Without identifying that I am performing the actions. So this step 3, that involves an observer as eye witnessing your own gross body that you can see as though it is an equipment that can be observed, and the equipment is functioning as it's supposed to be. We go next to the next step, where now we are getting into more subtler things, where I want to observe not only this body but the mind as well. How to do that? As you are listening to these sounds, pay attention as though they are objects that are coming through the senses to your mind, and a part of the mind is observing this process that is occurring in the mind. So as you hear my words or any other sounds, do not get involved, do not try to evaluate, do not try to criticize, just be an observer, an innocent and detached observer, observing the function of the mind, how the thoughts are rising in the mind, how the thoughts are going out, The words are changing, what you are hearing is changing, yet you are not involved. You are just an observer of the mind itself. This is the most subtlest and most difficult part of the meditation, but has to be done and can be done by slowly practicing this. And that's what Krishna says, that it is abhyasa and vairagya. Vairagya is I detach myself and be just an observer without involving myself in the activities of the mind as the mind is acting, grasping the words, analyzing the words, but I am not involved in the process. I can observe the thoughts coming, and also I can observe the silence in between. It is on this stage that we can use a mantra or a japa, where we can, part of the mind can start invoking a thought process, not any other thoughts, but thought of the Lord in the form of an Ishtadevata, name of the Lord, and at the same time detach yourself and observe how the other part of the mind is doing this. So essentially mind splits into two. One is an observer, another is an observed mind. I, a witnessing consciousness, using the observing mind, observing that mind which is doing the other part, doing the chanting. You can take the name of the Lord and chant slowly in your own mind and repeat the name, but at the same time don't get involved with the name other than be an observer how the mind itself is chanting. This is what Bhagavan calls it, Chitta Jam Japa, the japa that is being done by the mind. But only way to know it is using the part of the mind only. So mind observing the mind, and mind observing the silence in the mind. I am there looking at the mind, and as the thoughts rise, I am conscious of the thoughts. Now we go into the next stage of meditation, where we are now looking at not the mind, not the thoughts, but that light of consciousness that I am, because of which the thoughts that are coming or rising in the mind, I am conscious of. So my attention is now not on the thought content, but on the fact that I am conscious of the thought. The consciousness part that I am, then what I am conscious of. That is the last stage of meditation, where I am continuously be an observer, and that observer status is also the conscious status. And that is the witnessing consciousness, witnessing because of me only the knowledge is coming, but what the knowledge content or the knowledge of, I am not really involved at this stage. I am only observing, using the thoughts as a means for me to recognize the presence of the consciousness that is there, that's coming back or reflecting back. If there is a thought, you can see. If the silence is there, you can see that also. Now I am neither a silent nor a thought, but I am that which is witnessing both the silence and the thought also. I am in the silence, I am in the thought too. But yet, I am not the silence nor the thought. Anytime your mind has drifted back, go back to the earlier steps and bring it back again. This is the sadhana that is required for meditation. Everybody's mind will run away after some time, so only way is bring it back again. The fact that we could recognize that the mind has run away, we have already solved the problem, because we can bring it back again. In this stage, you are not disturbed by any sounds, any noises, whatever that occurs, because you can witness that also. You are not involved, whatever that comes through the five senses, you are being just witnessing of the operation of the body, the mind, and the intellect. The body, mind, intellect can continue to function, but you can be just a witness of the functioning of the body, mind, and intellect. This has to be done in a quiet place where you can find it, and a quiet time where there is not much of disturbance, so that you can, or you're able to concentrate single-pointedly as a witnessing consciousness without getting disturbed by what you witness. Now take a deep breath and slowly open your eyes whenever you are comfortable. You want to stretch yourself, you can do it, or we'll meet after a couple of minutes at least.
Thank you, Sadaji. We'll work on it.
I just want to say one word, thank you, what I felt. It felt like we had to be like a security guard, so that emotions and bad thoughts don't steal your calmness.
Yes. It's a meditation always relaxing, but what needs to be done as we go along is, this is a practice. But I should be able to do meditation even when opening the eyes. And slowly, slowly, any time also. But now, as a simple exercise, when you go for a walking alone, but be an observer of your own self. Because the mind will be thinking, I told you, in the past or a future, but be an observer of environment without interfering. At the same time, you can watch mechanically the body is able to take care of itself, able to stop, all those things. At the same time, you are trying to learn how to be a witness where because this is a mechanical thing, so that you can be a witness, at the same time observe your own body functioning also. That becomes a training as a process. But before all that, of course, doing sitting and meditation and all that will help the mind to train itself in order to be an observer without getting involved. So this is the simplest and Vedantic meditation, slowly, in the sense that I can be a witnessing consciousness. That's what the whole idea is. Now we are doing, we'll start now, right? Okay, we are doing 16 sloka. It's a very important sloka. So chant along with me again. Drusyavaritam chittamatmanaha Drusyavaritam chittamatmanaha Chittvadarsanam tattvadarsanam Drusyavaritam chittamatmanaha Chittvadarsanam tattvadarsanam. So here, this is exactly what we are doing in the meditation, is exactly being pointed out here. So, Drishyavaritam, now I am opening my eyes and looking around. And whenever I look around, I cannot but see, because that's not in my control. So, I can only open my eyes, and senses are functioning, and I cannot but see what is there if the mind is behind. If the mind is running somewhere else, then even though I may be opening and looking at you, I may be thinking of something else. So if the mind senses are all, the equipments are there, I cannot but see. So how do I see in spite of this, what I am seeing? So I cannot but see the world of plurality, and I cannot be in the seat of meditation closing my eyes all the time, because I cannot but live. I have to live in this world from birthday. That's why all, running around all that. So what should I do? Okay, Swamiji used to tell us, don't leave the God there in the puja room. Take it with you. Wherever you go, take it with you. So how do you, not that idol, they have to put it in the pocket. That's not the concept. The God is everywhere. That idea, you have to take it everywhere. That is what it means. So Drusyavaritam, either in terms of the bhakti point or in terms of the jnana point. Here it says Drusyavaritam chittam atmanaha, where when I look at any object that I see in this world, I had to remove one part of it and look at the other part. What is that part I can remove? Only the nama rupa I can remove, and look at what is the substantive, because of which object is, and without which object cannot be there. So that's what makes the object. So a ring is because of the gold. Without a gold, there cannot be a ring. So what is a ring? Ring is only name and form. So looking at the ring, the process is looking at the ring, say what is this? This is a ring. So is this a ring? So looking at every part, I see only gold here. There is no ring. So it's looking every part of it, say this is gold, gold. So what is this? This is a ring in the form of a gold. That's my structure. So is this ring there? Is ring really there? It's only gold. Why do you call unnecessarily ring? It's just a gold. That means there is no more ring. While using the ring. So while using ring, I am negating the whole ring itself, because what is there is only gold. So what implies is, when I say object is, means there is an existence of the object. Now gold is only, it's easy for me to say it's a gold and a ring, but now existence is cannot be conceptualized. It's not a concept, it is the truth, because concept is another thought. But this is absolute truth that I cannot perceive or think of. And manasa namonte enahur manomatam. Neither I can think of this is this, or this is existence, I cannot say. So, but existence itself was there before, and that itself became many. That's what this scripture statement. So gold itself was there before it became many. In the same way, existence itself was there before. That's one explanation of this whole thing. Other way Gaudapada talks in the Kandukya is just as Ghatakasha. Ghatakasha is like a pot space. So this is a pot. What this is it? Now when the pot is made, so how does the pot made? One makes a pot, but does a pot maker puts a space into it? Because when he makes a pot, automatically space is included in that. Right? Suppose the space in the pot thinks I am only pot space. Hey, I am only tiny pot, and that other big pot is better pot because he has a lot more space. Like that, if we caught thinking about I am only limited by this upadi. Upadi is the equipment that is enclosing this space. If this limitation is things I am only in this, and that there is a Mahakasha there outside, which is the great Akasha, from which all Akashas came, from which they are all sustained, to which they go back. If this pot space thinks like that, then pot space need Vedantic education. Right? So it says you are not the really pot space, you are the total space. So what pot space has to know that I am the total space? Okay, you sit in the meditation, and Keshavarao has provided a hall here. You sit in the seat of meditation and think you are the total space, you are only not the pot space, all that Vedanta education. That is required. What? It's already before that education also, it is total space only. But even the walls that are separating the pot space and the total space is also in space only. The walls are also in space. Space cannot be divided. This is in the Atma Bodha, the Yatha Kasho Hrushikesu Nana Upadagato. We are telling to this is my space. We have put two walls there, and this is my space, that is your space. This is a bathroom space. Hey, we don't have enough space because already we have all the rooms are full. We don't have enough space for it. All that we say. But space itself cannot be divided. So what are the divisions? This is mine and this is yours. We are only putting a wall, but even the walls are also in space only. So if the space has stayed, what should I do to become a total space? You are total space. You can never be in fact divided into small spaces at all. If the division is only for a convenience for my transactions, because this is a bathroom, this is a kitchen, what I do in the bathroom is different from what I do in the kitchen. That's what transactions. But space is immaculately pure. So therefore, I don't have to purify the space. All I need is I have to remove things that are dirty there. Say, when we go out of the country, that's what happens when you go in India, 6 months here and 6 months when you close all the doors. They think they'll stink. Open the doors, everything, and let the air go away. Because the space is stinking. Space doesn't stink. What is stinking is contents of it. You just purify this. Because space by nature is immaculate, nothing will touch me. Nainam chintanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. You cannot cut the space, you cannot burn the space, you cannot do anything in the space. Right? But we say this is my space. Those are all only notions about that. So any ownership is also everything. Space pervades the whole thing also. And he is beyond the space also. So what is beyond the space? There cannot be any beyond the space, because if there is a beyond, that space also has to be occupied, right? If there is something, what is there in the beyond? Is there a space there or not? So it's maybe the little scientific part. Looking at Apara was first telling me about showing about the creations and all that time. Says what exactly is the creation? Where did creation occur? Science says Big Bang, right? Big Bang is the science model. But even in Big Bang, the concept of space, where did it occur? Question is, if you ask question, where did the Big Bang occur? I don't know if you know the answers or all that. But the way Big Bang theory is that if I observe the galaxies that are there are moving further and further away. All further galaxies are moving further and away. That's the distance increases away. So if extrapolate backwards, they meet at a point. That's where exactly the Big Bang occurred. Right? I don't know if you know that. So where does it meet? Whoever is doing the extrapolation, that's where it's going to meet. So So, I don't know if you know, recently they said that new galaxies are forming billions of light years away. That's what there was a news in Yahoo News. Not that they are forming now, because the light took billions of light years away to come and reach you now. Billions of light years, that is what was forming at that time is reaching you now, and you say, yes, billions of light are now forming. Not now. Billions of light years ago they were forming. The fellow sitting there in those galaxies will be looking at us and say, they are forming, we are forming now. You follow because when you look into the sky, you are looking into the past. Because 4 light years, when you say the light is 4 light years away, a star means the light that has traveled 4 years ago is reaching you now. The now light will be coming after 4 years only, 4 years only. That's what the implication is. And when you say billions, so by interpolation, you would say wherever the observer is meeting, that's where the Big Bang occurred. That's what it says. That's what Vedanta says is, it is where the observer is, that's where the whole concept of creation is also. And the funny thing is, even Big Bang theory, where is the space? It says Big Bang occurred everywhere, but everywhere is a concept of space. So space itself is created with the bang only. I don't know if you know that. Time is also considered with the bang only. You can only talk about millionth of a second after the bang, not before. We cannot say what was there before. You cannot ask, because what's called in the mathematics called a singularity. You cannot ask anything about it beyond that. That's what we said also. What was there before creation? Remember that we said Sadeva Saumya Idamagram Asit Ekameva Advitiyam. Before that, what was there before is the existence alone was there. Sir, you use the word before. Before is the concept of time. Time was there before? He says no. Only to teach you I am using that word. Because the time itself is not there. Time comes only after the creation of the mind only. So how? Because there was something, existence even beyond the time? Yes. Beyond the space also. Because that's what Vedanta says. Because Atmana Akasha Sambhutaha. Therefore Atma was there even before the creation, from which Akasha came. So space itself came afterwards only. Then from space, all other things, Akasha, Vayu, Vayogni, all that. So, okay, this is not possible to imagine even. Can I think of something without space? Now, just for a Vedantic discussion, space is nothing but simultaneous observation of 2 points. Is a definition of space. When I observe 2 points simultaneously, then the gap between them defines a space. If I have only 1 point, then I cannot define a space. Also, time is sequential observation of 2 points. Sequential points of 2 events is what time is. 1, 2. There's a gap, therefore there's a time. If I have only 1 event, there's no time. No space. How do you prove all this? This is all just because you're talking and we're listening, no? This is exactly what happens when you go to deep sleep state. In the deep sleep state, you are there. You have an experience of deep sleep. So Vedanta says it's not the gap between 2 events, because events have to be observed. Event 1, Event 2, there has to be an observer independent of the events, observing, yes, 1 event is over and 2nd event. And therefore, the gap between the 2 defines this time, the sequential events. Same with space, 2 simultaneous events. An observer has to be there. If I have only event, you cannot have it. How do you prove? This is exactly what happens in the deep sleep state, where there is an event only is constant sleep. There is no second experience for me to count. 1 experience is over, another experience started. So when we go to sleep, oh, did I sleep that long? We may go to sleep, but we don't know when we go to sleep. Only when you get up and look at, oh my God, it's already 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I'm already late, gargada, all those things, right? Because event 1, I know when I went to sleep. Event 2, I'm looking at the clock second, and therefore the time and the space all are. But in the deep sleep state, where are you? What time is it now? You cannot answer any of those because you are there, yet no space, no time, no event, anything. All that come only with the mind. Okay? So now I can reject same thing with the mind now because the mind is the problem. And mind seeking a solution is a problem because that's what we are all trying to find out. And the problem is that the mind that is seeking the solution is itself is a problem. Because there is no real problem and we are trying to solve a problem where there is no problem, and that has become a problem. And that's why, because he says, why? Because you are already Ananda Swarupam, you are already such Ananda Swarupam, and you are looking for Ananda again. So that is a problem of the mind, not the problem of the real problem there. And how can you find a solution to it? Because there is no real problem there to find a solution. So what is the solution? Solution is to recognize that there is no real problem. That's the solution. How? That's what Vedanta is. Okay? So how do I do it? Okay, you are looking at it as though it is different. Now remove that which makes it different. What makes it different? Ring is different from a bangle. What makes it different? Remove that which is causing a difference there. The ring and the form is different. Bangle and the form are different. Therefore, ring is different from a bangle. Remove those. That which makes ring different from a bangle. And look at it again. Remove not really physically, intellectually. Hello, no? This is what Viveka means. Why Viveka is required for Vedanta analysis of the Shankara tells in the Brahma Sutra, Athato Brahma Jignasa. Thereafter you inquire. Whereafter? After acquiring this Viveka. Of discriminating what is real in this and what is unreal in this. Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka is Viveka. So I cannot really separate it. I go, oh, I don't like ring. Any form you take, this is the same problem. So because ring or gold cannot exist without being a form. It has to be in some form. It's the same problem. So all names and forms that you see in the whole universe is nothing but this total transactional world. Drusya varitam, that I see all drusyam. This object is different from this object, is different from this object. But in and through the objects I had to see that which pervades all the objects. That is the vision that is required in the drusya varitam Chittam Atmanaha, and that is the reality that is being pointed out. And this now I had to do even opening my eyes also. So meditation that I was talking about, witnessing, is a training for me to be able to do this every time, all the time. But to do this, because it's easy for me to get carried away with the transactional world, even though I understand all this theory. After class is over, everybody understood it, basically. But still, it doesn't get retained. Because we get carried away with the attachments of the names and forms. We are not able to take the name and the form while transacting because we are used to the name and form and forgetting the essence there. And it's difficult for me to see the essence without the name and the form. And I get because of my attachments. Asangoham, 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 punah, punah. The meditation slokas of Shankara writes about this. Start with that. I am not detached either from the mental level, physical level, or intellectual level. But I am is going to say what exactly that I am is. But this is what is required in both inquiry, meditation. Meditation are not different from Vedanta study also. Now, once I understood this, how should I do? What should I do? Do this all the time. Because I cannot do all the time, I need to have the reminding of this is the truth, this is the actual truth. Because many lives and lives and lives that have gone through from amoeba all the way to this stage, suspending that this whole world is real. Now, just few classes of Vedanta study, you think that we have experts, so we understand it, but these habits are very difficult to remove. So we have Swami Dhiran, you analyze this habit. Habits are very difficult because even if you remove, a bit still remains, right? It's A-B-I-T. And even if you remove the A, bit still is there. And even if you remove B, it is still there. All I have to do is surrender that little I to the truth, then the truth T comes out as the real truth. Okay? So habits are very hard to do because we are habituated to that. And that's what is causing the vasanas on all those theories behind it is only supporting all these statements only. Why am I doing it? Why he's thinking different way? Other fellow is thinking that way. His vasanas or his habits are different from your habits. That's all. Fundamentally, the same problem. But what understanding theory is different from practical. Because intellectual understanding is I. That's why they call it in this is only paroksha jnanam. The name already call it a paroksha jnanam. This J. Krishnamurti uses this. It's not an understanding as a thought, but it's an understanding as a fact. There's a difference in that. So it's yes, I understood what? I am Brahman, I am this. Now what should I do? It means you are not understood. If I had to do something else, that means I am not Brahman is understood. It's not clear. In the Kenopanishad it says, yes, I understand it. The student will scream out after teaching that. You are the mind beyond this. That because of which the mind is able to think. That because of which eye is able to see. That because of which the nose is able to smell. That because of which the life itself is able to function. Yan manasa namanute enaru manomatam tadeva brahmatam vidhi nedam nedam upasate yat chakshusha napasyati ena chakshumsa pasyati tadeva brahmatam vidhi nedam nedam upasate yat srotre nasronote ena srotram idam srutam tadeva brahmatam vidhi nedam. Like that repeats and repeats and repeats. Says, yes, I understand. Then suddenly he realized that the teacher may understand that I understand it as a thought. No, it's not that I understand this as Brahman. No, I don't understand. At the same time, he really understood. So I said, no, not that I don't understand, I do understand. So this conversation of contradictions is because that is the nature of understanding. Once I understand, you know it's understanding. Somebody said, do you really understand? What should you tell me? Should I say, I understand it? Then it's not object that for me to understand. What is there? It's me only. I found myself. What I was searching for myself and I found myself. There's something wrong with this guy. Because how can you lose yourself? So the Gurudev used to tell us, one fellow, they brought his friends to the room. This fellow has drunk some party or something and says, after they brought the friend to the room. Says, this fellow is crying, please take me to my room, please take me to my room, please take me to my room, I don't want to go to. He's already in the room. They brought him. But he was so drunk he doesn't know where he is. So what they do? They took him around all over the campus and brought him back here. Now he's comfortable. I am back to the room. That's what we do. Vedanta is taking you all over the place and then you are that. You are now at home. But it's easy to joke in terms of that, but from the point of it's very difficult because it's so subjective and so deep-rooted notions that we have, it's not easy. But it's not difficult. This is a statement of Lord also. It is not easy, but it's possible, provided abhyasa and vairagya is important. So, drusya varitam chittam atmanaha chitta darsanam tattva darshanam. So, I gave the whole process of how perception occurs and all that. And this is what is to be used in the knowledge of what it is. Manasantu kim margane krute naiva manasam marga arjavat. Guruji says this is where the Jnana Yoga starts. But for me, at least I mentioned that it's, from my understanding, the even other one is really very deep-rooted Vedantic teaching. So here, this sloka has been misunderstood so much by the Ramana Maharishi students, actually, some students. So, manasantu kim margane krute naiva manasam marga arjavad. So, I try to inquire, what is this mind? Manasantu kim marganite kim manasam. So, indeed, if I try to want to know, what is this mind? Margane krute. If I try to inquire into what is this mind, naiva manasam marga arjavad. There is no mind. If I try to inquire what is the mind, there is no more mind left. Marga arjava. This is a straightforward path. Now, this can cause a lot of confusion. If I want to think what's the mind, mind itself is gone. You know, so what happens to me? And this is in fact, so what is meditation? All he says, you have to stop the mind. Because Bhagavan says, your mind has to go away. So mind is a problem. Because my mind is the one that is causing all the problems. So what should I do? I want to get rid of the mind. For meditation, mind is a problem. If you think the mind, if a mind thinks the mind is a problem, that mind is a problem. Because that mind has a problem. Because mind itself is just an instrument. It cannot cause any problem. So I have a nose. I go to a doctor, say, sir, I have a nose. So what's the problem? Sir, I have a nose. So what is the problem? That is my problem. I think you need a psychologist. This is not this doctor. Why? Having a nose is my natural thing. If I have something other than nose on my nose, then I had to complain to say that there is something other than thing there. So mind, having a mind as a human being is having a mind is natural. But what is the problem is, what does the mind has to be understood. Now, here I gave you some basic in the first talk itself. It says consciousness is everywhere. Remember that? Remember, this is a basic Vedanta. Consciousness is everywhere, and wherever there is a subtle mind, there is a reflection of consciousness by the mind. That's called, we call it Chidabhasa, right? Because the mind has a capable to reflect it, just like the mirror is capable to reflect the light. So just so that in the same way, mind has the capable to reflect the light of consciousness, not its normal light. It's a light of consciousness is getting reflected. But this is light of consciousness, therefore in the process of reflection, the mind also becomes a conscious entity, as though conscious entity. Follow the problem there. That is the nature of the mind. Wherever there is a mind, it reflects, but also it becomes a live entity. Conscious entity means you are alive. So what is life? If you go to a doctor, ask him what is life? I don't think anybody can answer that question. All I can say is, I can tell you whether you're alive or not. If you're breathing and all those things, I can see the components that say, from which I say, yes, he is alive. What? He is breathing, he is responding. So responses from that base, I can deduce that he is alive. But what exactly is life? And we say what? In all our say, he is Mar Gaya, right? Mar Gaya means he is dead and gone. Chachipoyinadu. He has gone somewhere. That means there is something else was there occupying that place and has left. That's how Ramana Maharishi got into this. He wanted to die, experience the death because somebody else, his uncle or somebody died or so, and he also wants to experience the death. So they said this uncle was not protesting anything. Even when somebody was touching, he was protesting. Now they are putting fire and he is not doing anything. I want to see what that death is. So he wanted to lie down and experience that death. Then he says, as long as I am thinking, I am not dead. So he stopped thinking. So something happened for him to recognize that he is beyond the body. I mean, he can see the body, but he thinks the body is almost dead, and he's still around. People will be coming and carrying it and putting fire. He's all imagining as though it is something different from him. That means he was able to shift his attention as I am the witnessing consciousness, witnessing the operation of the body. How did it happen? Because of previous. Yesterday I told you about Saptavada Nyaya, 7th Vada. He already ate 6 Vadas. So, in the previous life, therefore, he is able to appreciate. Swami Chinmaya says, after reading Ramana Maharishi, they say, I also want to experience death and lie down. He says, nothing is happening. I says, let's get up and have, because I'm getting hungry. Tomorrow we'll start again. So, that requires, previous sadhana is required. The mind has to be prepared, whether this life or in the previous life. So nothing is given free here in this. But everything counts. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya, even little bit of it will take you a long way. Once you are in the Vedantic study, your mind is already getting the seeds of this that has to germinate now. Provided you put water and do all the fertilizing things like that so that it can grow. Otherwise, it will remain dormant until you put, again, somebody puts the fertilizer and all that. So it's for you to make it grow. How to make it grow? Srotavya, mantavya, nididya. Listening to the constant scripture study, by satsang, by this, so that I don't get involved and get lost in the transactional reality. Not that I shouldn't transact. Whatever I transact with the knowledge to the degree that I can apply. But I need to keep reminding myself. So this is, we're going to discuss that more as we come in jnana part. But this is what, so manasantukim, what exactly is the mind? So total consciousness is there, and now the chidabhasa, reflected consciousness is chidabhasa. That's what we mentioned, right? And this is called samanya chaitanyam. Because every mind reflects. Okay? And I cannot have, remember I put my hand there, you cannot recognize the presence of the light without the hand. You need the hand, but it's not the hand. So you need the hand to see the light, but at the same time it's not the hand. So even if I drop it, you cannot see that, but to see the light only, I need the hand, using the hand, but I don't want to pay attention to the hand that is reflecting. I want to pay attention to the light that is getting reflected. That's what we said, mate. Same thing in the witnessing consciousness also. The thoughts are rising in my mind as I hear from the words. Every word becomes a thought in my mind. But now, without getting involved in the contents of the thought, I just watch. Watch is what? I am the one that is light is coming back. I am the consciousness because of which I am conscious of. I am conscious of this, I am conscious of that, I am conscious of this is changing, but I am conscious that I am conscious doesn't change. Pratibodha viditam matam, this in the Kena Upanishad says, in every knowledge this is being revealed that I am there, I am there, I am there. So there is never a time I was not there. Yet I'm getting lost with the thought. That's where the problem is. I am getting thought, what is reflecting? I am paying more attention to that than to the, because of which it is getting reflected. That's the whole process here. Now, I gave you example of what is Samanya Chaitanya. Consciousness which is pervading everywhere. The mind is a reflecting medium and it is required for reflection. That's called Chidabhasa. And that reflected light is falling onto the thoughts which gets reflected back. This is all the whole process of perception I gave you. And that's essentially in the Vedanta Paribhasha, it's called perceptuality condition, where the subject I and the object this, subject a conscious entity and existence of an object as a thought are joining together, where the consciousness and the existence are becoming one, as though for me to be conscious of the existence of the thought, therefore existence of the world. Right? All 9 yards. God, keep reminding, because this is, every time it has to be remembered, this is what is happening. And now, this is a Samanya Chaitanyam. Then the Visishta Chaitanya is that which is reflected medium, takes myself, I am this. This what? This is, I am, all that ahankara comes. This is where the ahankara comes. Ahankara means ego. Ego is a notion in the mind, and I am this. So here is the problem, where the reflection occurs. So you cannot avoid it, because consciousness is everywhere. Mind cannot but reflect. So Chidabhasa is always there. Just like when the pot is made, space is there. Pot in space is always there, in the pot. So being in the pot, I have to recognize I am a total space. I don't have to break the pot in order to say the pot space doesn't have to, the pot need to be broken in order for me to say I am a total space. Remaining in the pot, I should say I can recognize that I am the total space while still in the pot. Follow that example? That's called Upahita Chaitanyam. Means Upadi Sahita Chaitanyam. In the Upadi, remaining in the Upadi means the walls that are there, that is bounding the pot, remaining in that, I have to recognize that I am the total consciousness that is getting reflected by the pot or by the moon. Follow the analogy now. So the total consciousness is getting reflected on the mind, but I am not the mind, I am the reflecting light. Because it's only reflection. Remember, you are not seeing my hand. You are seeing only the light getting reflected by the hand. Don't think that you are really seeing my hand. Remember, that is physics is exact. Hand is required, but hand is not. You are not really seeing the hand, right? That's the basic. The light is coming on it and falling on it and coming back to you. You think there is a hand. Not that hand is not there. Hand is there, but hand is required for you to recognize the light. In the same way, I need the mind to recognize that the light of consciousness is making that mind as though conscious entity. You follow now? Conscious entity, Chit, doesn't need to recognize or realize. No realization is required for Satchidananda Swarupa. Brahman doesn't need to realize, because he is Brahman. Ekamaiva Advitiyam is all pervading, eternally real, no divisions of any kind. Sajati Vijati Swagata Bedarahitam. So it doesn't have to realize. Mind by itself cannot realize because it is inert. Then who is realization? This is what involved. I have to, because the light of consciousness is falling on the mind and it is becoming active in the process, it is becoming as though conscious entity and thinks that I am an independently conscious entity. That's where the problem is. You follow? The whole tack is because of this mind. Where the mind thinks I am conscious entity. When I say I am, and then you big a list of your egotistical biography, I am this, pages and pages, and people can talk on hours and hours about how great they are. All this, I am this. And when I say I am this, therefore I am not that. And I would like that also mine. So whole process of is trying to acquire, people want billions of dollars because everything I want to be there. So what I have becomes what I am. Because the more I have, more I am. That's whole process of that is happening there. But if you understand clearly what is all this confusion is, the confusion is consciousness is getting reflected by the Chidabhasa, but Chidabhasa at that level, as though this mind thinks because it's getting enlivened in the process of the reflection, thinks that I am the independent conscious entity, he is independent conscious entity, she is independent conscious entity, everybody are different conscious entities, there are multiple conscious entities here. Who is saying? The reflected conscious entities are saying, not the absolute. Follow the whole problem. I am the pot space, this pot space, and the other pot space is a bigger pot space. He is proud that he is big, and the other fellow is crying that he is only small pot. By the way, this is Advaita philosophy. I don't know if you know how much of Madhva philosophy is. They think everybody is like a pot. Different size pots. Big pot, small pot. Yeah, this is true. This is true. I'm in the city of here, this is a Vyasapitam. I cannot say anything. I had to tell what exactly. If I don't know, I say I don't know also. So each one thinks that what is the reaching of highest Ananda? Your pot is full. If a small pot, your small pot is full. That much only you can take. The big pot is big full. Why is big pot? Don't ask that question. It's happened to be his big pot and your small pot. Because that's his this one and you are this. There is no way you cannot say anything. You cannot become a big pot because that's your size. There are even smaller pots. Be happy that you are bigger pot than other smaller pots there. But Narayana, you cannot become Narayana, you are nowhere, because Narayana is Parabrahma, he is Sarvanta Vyapika, he is pervading everywhere. And he is making you happy a little bit, at least be happy. So this is Advaita. There are also worst parts also, eternally worst. The Rakshasas also there. There is no salvation for them. It's that also. That's part of Advaita philosophy. This is the duality, the dualistics philosophy. There is a Jiva Bhinnatvam, Jiva Ishwara Bhinnatvam, the Jagat Ishwara Bhinnatvam and Jagat Jiva Bhinnatvam and Jiva Bhinnatvam also. There are 5 differences are there which are eternally there. This is a Advaita philosophy. In the Advaita, therefore in the Advaita philosophy, the Lord, there is no, the material cause is not the Lord. He doesn't become many. And they interpret Tattvamasi as Atatvamasi. I don't know if you know the Svetaketu Tattvamasi. So you can split in such a way that Svetaketu Atatvamasi, you are not that. That's the interpretation of by the Madhvas. Whereas the Ramanuja, that's originally I come from, originally Visishta Advaitin. So there, the total is one, and internally there is Swagata Vedas. Internal differences are there. There is only one. Ekameva Advitiyam Brahman is only one. But internally there are differences, and each Jiva is only a Visishta. Visishta means special for each one. Each one is a part of the total, as like organs in the body. They're called organic relationship. Means like a limb is different from me. It's part of me only. But hand is different, finger is different, cell is different, everyone is different, yet I am on total that pervades the whole thing. That's called Viseshna Sahita or Visishta Sahita or Visishta Advaita. Whereas the only in the ways is there cannot be anything infinite, cannot be parted. That's illogical. That's because it's infinite. When you say infinite, Brahman means infinite, you cannot make divisions in the infinite. So you cannot have any divisions of that. That's why it is Nirgunam. Whereas this Nirgunam, same thing, Bhagavan Ramanuja says it is Dosharahitam. It is no other bad qualities are not there. It is Ananta Kalyana Gunashrayam. Is infinite auspicious qualities are there in that Lord. And that's what is. What are the qualities? You can tell all the Lakshmi. Start with Sri Bhagavan, right? Sri Bhagavan Vacha. So Sri always. So we're going to talk about the Ishvara later, a little bit comes into that. So that, anyway, Manasam, remember now you have talking about the Samanya Chaitanyam. And there is a Visishta Chaitanyam. Visishta Chaitanyam is, this part is different from the other part. That is the Visishta aspect. This space is limited in this part. Same way, I am conscious entity as this unit, I am this. Still this is limited. The body, mind and intellect is limited. So when I take myself in this ahankara, so ahankara means ego, involves 2 aspects. I am this. Follow? So I am part is the reflected consciousness is coming and reflected in the Chidaba, in the mind. That is, up to that is I am. Upahita. That's like part has space as form. And from this, a notion that I am equal to this identification with the local equipments of body, mind, and intellect, along with all the vasanas and everything, is this ahankara. So ahankara is always this combination. I am plus this. I can never separate it. Because these two exist together all the time. Just as I cannot separate the light and the hand. There are always two there. But intellectually now I had to separate using my hand that light is different from the one that is reflecting. You follow now? I need a viveka in order to learn, realize. In the same way, ego is always there. Not that you drop the ego. You cannot drop the ego. Who drops the ego? Egotistical fellow, it says drop the ego. From now on, tomorrow I am Chidmaya Mission member. Who says that? Ego has to say. You cannot make anything, life itself without that identification. You cannot live anywhere. Now I am in meditating. Who says that? So I had, how did I get involved? Someone asked me, the people are asking, coming back. How did I get involved? When I was a student in the college, I got into touch with J. Krishnamurti books. And says, you are conditioned by what you are brought up, because you are thinking there is a God because you are brought up in the society where there is a God, therefore you are brought up in that way. Other fellow says there is no God because he brought up in that conditioning, therefore he thinks there is no God. Both are fools. Because both are conditioned to think like that. The truth is you have to go beyond the conditioning. You have to uncondition the mind. I don't know if people read the J. Krishnamurti books, you have to uncondition the mind. Sir, how do I uncondition the mind? Don't ask that question, because if I give you process, you will be conditioning to that process. That's the truth. I'm not saying it's the truth. Then what should I do? Don't ask that question. If you have to do something, you will be conditioning again. So how to uncondition? Observe your mind. Observe the mind, how it is conditioned. That itself unconditions the mind. So hey, this is very simple. I don't need anything, any books, nothing else. All I have to do is sit, observe the mind. But next question is, who observes the mind? Who is the mind? The mind has to observe the mind. How does the mind observe the mind? So okay, maybe I'll try. I am an observing mind, another mind is being observed. Pretty soon I went to sleep without my knowledge, because it's not that easy. I got to detach my, not that he's wrong, but he criticized all the process. But Vedanta says, I remember 4 miles of running is necessary to discover that 4 miles of running is not necessary. That's what I was telling. All that sadhana is necessary to purify the mind, to recognize that I am beyond the sadhanas, not even the mind also. To say that I am not the mind, I need the mind. I cannot say without it. So here is a problem, which I'm trying to give this exactly what the situation is. Consciousness getting reflected on the mind is called Chidabhasa. In the process, it is becoming live as though. And it now thinks that I am independently a conscious entity. That's what we are all thinking. I am conscious entity. No one in this world thinks that I am unconscious entity. Right? Everybody knows they are conscious entity. But at the same time, are you Brahman? No. Why? I am conscious entity, he is also conscious entity. He is different from me. So what is that happened now? Local entity, the mind, which became active, thinks that I am active because of my own nature now. But this is only reflected consciousness. So the Visishta Chaitanyam, I'm using the word of Sanskrit word, says Visishta Chaitanyam is Visheshna Saha. That is that I am this, all Visheshnas that I go with has become a reality now. That is Ahankara. But I cannot avoid this. Because remember, I need this hand to see the light. So the delicate part is using the Ahankara itself to recognize that I am part and not this part. You follow now? So I am going to realize, who says? Ego has to say it. When Bhagavan Ramana says, beyond the ego, he is Bhagavan. But who is writing it? Without mind, he cannot write. He is writing bhashyas and vashas. There is an ahankara there. I am writing this book. I am invoking the Lord's grace to write this book. That's what he said, bhashya. Before Bhagavad Gita bhashya, he praises the Lord Narayana. And then starts. Then who is doing it? Mind has to be there. Ahankara has to be there. I am doing it. At the same time, I am not this. Understood. Pasyan Srunvan or Annannan. There's a Bhagavad Gita sloka. Indriyarteshu vartante. Indriyas function in the field of Indriyas. It is the nature of the Indriyas, but I am not doing it. For that, I should be just a witness of the process. So, now, what is a Vedantic meditation now? Vedantic is establishing myself. I am the light of consciousness because the whole process is occurring. But yet, I am not doing this. Prakrutcheva karmani kriyamanani sarvasaha yah pasyati tadatmanam akartaram sapasyati. Prakriti itself does all the actions. Prakriti itself is Maya. Mayanta prakritim vidyat. That Prakriti does all. Sarvani karmani, all activities, breathing, everything also. Who is going to breathe? If you have to really, because we did exercise in terms of meditation, I had controlling the breath. There I am deliberately doing it. But who really does the breathing? Thank God it's going on. If I had to do every time, all the time, I will be in trouble. Whether I am awake or asleep, everything is going on so smoothly. Heart is functioning without my problem, without my interference. Digestive system, circulatory system, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, all systems of physiology going continuously without my involvement. Unnecessarily maybe, but it's going on. That is the miracle of life itself. How does it work? After all, it's carbohydrates, minerals and all that put together here. There's nothing much. Yet, it has become so dynamic. And if you ask the consciousness, it has nothing to do with this. Yet, in its presence itself, the whole thing is happening. What a beauty you can see there. Amazing. The life itself, we don't know what life it is, but it is just the life of reflection of that itself is making so active and dynamic, and all the matter is becoming so dynamic in the world. What a beauty and what a... So this itself is the vibhuti of the Lord, I guess. So understanding it makes the life so dynamic and so wonderful. Everything itself is looking at the flower blooming it so beautifully because there is a life. And what is that life? We don't know. But that because of the presence of that consciousness itself, everything is so dynamic here. That appreciation is the recognition of everything also. And understanding that it is me only, that is the knowledge. How can that be me? That's why the Vedanta class is required. At least start that. See the beauty of the Lord's grace. The Lord's beauty is called, look at my vibhuti. Because the whole, I cannot tell you, it's unlimited is my vibhuti. In the 10th chapter, Krishna states, unlimited are there. He only gives you some indication. This is me, that is me, that is me. I am Arjuna in Pandavas also, he tells, to Pandava. Dhananjaya, Pandavas. That, so I am everything, because he cannot tell us, hey, you are this also, you are that, because there are so thousands of people. That's why he says, in the end, whatever you see is me only. That's my vibhuti. So what should I do? I can, with this knowledge, I should be able to see and enjoy the beauty that is there everywhere in the world, manifesting in names and forms and different themes, because I can see in and through the life pulsating there. The very existence itself is what makes it. That knowledge is I need to get with this understanding. And that becomes a meditation now. Looking at the world, when I'm transacting in the world, recognition the presence of the Lord everywhere or myself everywhere is in fact is the constant meditation. I cannot be greedy, I cannot be selfish, I cannot be what is mine here. There is nothing mine. Everything is mine or nothing is mine. Either way. But whatever I can do to uplift the beauty of this life, that I need to do. A flower doesn't have to do anything. It beautifies naturally. You understand what a beauty. But for us, Lord has given the intellect to beautify ourselves by creativity. Lord has not given intellect. It follows the natural order. It doesn't have to think I have to do this and then I have to do that. All that, it comes beautifully by itself because that's already pre-programmed. Rose will give you rose flower. Jasmine will give you jasmine flower. That's a nature. But for me, I have given the intellect that says you are created in my own image. Right? That's what the Bible says. What is that image? You have given an intellect to think so that you can be creative like me. Provided I can be creative. So how? By beautifying myself and beautifying the surroundings around myself in whatever way that I have capable of. My mind, my body, my intellect, whatever I can do to beautify the things around me, that is the way I can beautify the whole world. At least beautify the world around me. That is the essential teaching of the Holy. So here, I went all around, but the Manasantukim, inquiring into is looking at this ego, I am plus this, I have to inquire what is this mind. Looking at consciousness and the mind that is reflecting, what exactly is the mind? So when I look at the sky on a full moon night, I see the moon, right? Remember, moon and the mind are related. Looking at the shining moon, what I am seeing, what is the moon? If I ask the question, oh, that's the moon. No, I am seeing only sunlight. There is no really moon. What I am seeing is not moon. I am seeing only sunlight, right? Manasantu kim margane krute naiva manasam. I want to inquire what is the moon. There is no really moon. What I am seeing is only sunlight. Moon is required to know this. Remember? All that is intellectually I am looking at the moon and recognize it's only sunlight that I am seeing. Not really the moon. But moon is required for me to recognize the sunlight. So, Manasantu kim margane krute, what is this mind? Who says mind itself is asking the question and inquiring what is this mind, because it has a capacity to inquire because it is becoming enlivened. And says this enlivening process is not due to the mind, due to the consciousness that the mind has to know. Follow now? So what is that? He says, Manasantu kim margane krute naiva manasam. There is no mind. There is really no mind. Using the mind, I am saying that there is no really mind. What is there is only light of consciousness getting reflected. That is from the point of Chit Swarupam. Okay? Chit Swarupam is consciousness point. Now from the point of Sat Swarupam. This is where the Nirvikalpa Samadhi and the Savikalpa Samadhi comes into picture. So I just want to digress a little bit. What is okay. See, this is my mission. Huh?
That's why I put it there, you can see it.
Yeah, but this is the numbers here. See, I'm a digital guy. What is our schedule? 10:40. Okay. 10:40. I said time is over, but anyway. So, remember, for every object when I see, I get a reflection from the... So, existence of the object out there has become an existence of a thought in my mind. And that existence of the thought and consciousness that I am has to be joined together for me to be conscious of the existence of the thought. Right? Now, let's say there are no thoughts. Let's just for example, let's say no thoughts. Now what is that I have to observe? Try to observe the mind itself with other thoughts. Mind is also an object. Now mind is also reflecting. So let's just like moon asking what is the moon? Oh, I am the light of consciousness that is being enlivened by myself. No other thoughts. I don't have to illumine the earth for me to know that's my light. So it is as though moon is asking a question, says, where is the shining coming from? It's from the consciousness, and only I am providing a means for the consciousness to reflect on it. That means it is not thoughts are not raising, but I am observing the mind itself as an object for me to observe, because mind can be observed also as an object. But who is observer? Again mind. So this has to be, because we need the mind for everything. Without the mind we go to sleep. Remember, without the mind there was no meditation also. So I had to use a part of the mind to see the mind. It says, hey, this reflection is me only. So what is the reflection? It is the light that is getting reflected. What is the light? I am the light, because I say I am conscious entity. So consciousness is not coming from the mind, but coming from the light of consciousness which is all pervading. That understanding is from the point of nirvikalpa samadhi. What is nirvikalpa means? I am not entertaining any other outside thoughts, but mind itself has become an object for me to observe. That's what Krishnamurti is talking about. Observe your mind, and there is no conditionings. For that, a part of the mind has to observe the other part of the mind and say, I am not the mind, I am the light of consciousness that is making this, even this is to shine. That is only knowledge there at that level. That is what is nirvikalpa samadhi is. Savikalpa samadhi is, what does it matter if thoughts come? It doesn't bother me, because I am the one even that getting reflected back also to me. That also me only. So thoughts don't bother me anymore, because thoughts do come naturally. So I don't have to sit in some place and close everything and close the thoughts and all that. I can just be in the playground and see this drama going on also. So it's called sahaja samadhi or savikalpa samadhi, the natural way. Because thoughts come, thoughts go, I don't go. I can observe the thoughts and be myself, recognize that I am the light of consciousness which is illumining the thoughts too. So all are involved, but not the destruction of the mind. What is mind destroyed is only notional mind, that I have a notion that I am this only, Visishta Chaitanyam. That misunderstanding goes away. Now what happens after that? He's going to tell later. But in principle, I can deliberately now take the role with an understanding and then play the game knowing very well I am not this. It's like an actor playing in a drama where I know I am an actor and I am taking the role for fun. But I am not the role. Roles will have a problem, but I don't have a problem. Follow? Because if the roles don't have a problem, then drama will be useless. Nobody wants to watch drama. So when the hero is there, heroine is there, all those things will go on, and the hero will be kicking that villain will be kicking back. And in India means unless they kick each other, nobody will see it. So that drama has to go on. But at the same time, he may be his own friend, acting like a villain there. And in the green room, they are all shaking it. So because this is all drama that they have to play. So playing drama is not a problem as long as I know I am playing the drama. But if I get lost in the roles that I am playing, I am a king role and I think I am really king and start ordering everybody outside the row, they will put me in the hospital. So I can play the role of a father, role of a mother, role of an employee, role of a friend, role of this, role of that, and citizen. All roles that I am playing, roles will have a problem, but I have no problem. I can remove the vesham and be myself also. Also I can put a Vesham and then play a game. Because it's a fun. That is what is going to talk in few on. That we will start after the tea. We will do the Purnamada Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.